episode 104 of this pokey little podcast that we do called Canadian as Heck. Right here, Revolution Radio Canada, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Craig G, alongside my man Dimitri Alexiou and Derek Lewis, who is currently trying to sign in, having some tech issues, unfortunately. But we will be chatting with him very, very shortly. So looking forward to that. We have a new bestie here at Revolution Radio Canada. Her name is Maya Malkin, and we're going to have a chat with you, my friend. So I just wanted to say a huge thanks for joining us tonight. We greatly appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Yeah. So our good friend at Beth at What's the Story? So she's actually helped us out a few times now, which is great. So she's one of our besties as well. And so we can't thank her enough. So listen, let's get right into this, my friend. Let's kind of start at the beginning and sort of, take everyone through sort of your journey and kind of where you are in your art, these days. Where were you born?
I was born in Montreal, Quebec. I think specifically LaSalle Hospital, if you want the details. Mm-hmm. But yeah, born and raised Montreal.
Nice. When did you move to Toronto?
I just moved to, I say just, but it's been like almost 4 years now. So in November, it'll be my fourth, or I'll have been here for 4 years. I moved here in November 2020, like peak pandemic. So.
Oh, wow.
So you've spent basically your whole life pretty much, I guess, then, if that's the case, mostly in Montreal.
Yeah. So my mom has always been in Montreal and my dad has always been in Toronto. So I was one of those, like, literally since before I was born, they weren't together. So it was kind of like always going back and forth between Montreal and Toronto for holidays and stuff. So and my siblings live in Toronto and stuff. So it never felt like it wasn't home, but I definitely didn't know the city super well. I'm definitely born and raised Montreal, and like that's my hometown. Awesome. But it didn't feel too foreign to come to Toronto either.
Did you plan to move during the pandemic?
No.
Did anyone plan anything during the pandemic?
Listen, it was already the pandemic when I decided to move, but it was because I had always I knew that I wanted to experience living in Toronto. And after I graduated university, instead of moving, I kind of ended up in a relationship instead. And it was kind of this, like, I felt like my trip to my Toronto experience got delayed. So I finally, when COVID hit and I was like, not in that relationship anymore, and I just bought my first car for me, I was like, you know what's stopping me from just driving and living there? And I was so bored already that I felt like at least my daily mental health walks, I got to experience new buildings and streets, as opposed to just it helped me feel like my life was moving forward in a very stagnant time.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Good.
So what's essentially, when did music get started for you? Would you be able to kind of give us an age roundabout, roughly?
Yeah,
you started with bands, because we've got one band here that we'd have to talk to you about. That.
Hello, Derek.
So Derek, I just wanted to let you know we appreciate your name in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen.
Derek Shirt Cocken.
Unbelievable. So welcome Maya, to Revolution Radio Canada.
Much like the pandemic conversation that you were just having. Hello, Maya, by the way.
Hello.
I'm not wearing fucking pants.
Oh, yeah, that's like the at-home Zoom calls or whatever.
Right, exactly.
No one has to know.
No
one
has to know. Well,
we don't have to know.
I'm actually gonna make shirts that say I'm not wearing pants. And I'm gonna. I'm sorry, I've interrupted.
So we're welcome Derek Lewis to the broadcast. So yeah, let's go back to your musical beginnings.
Yeah. It started from a young age. I think just because my whole family's in the entertainment industry, so. I grew up in a very creative family. Almost all of my family works in the film industry or somehow in TV or in.
What type of work do they do?
So my mom is a film producer. My dad spent a lot of his career as a first assistant director for a lot of Hollywood movies, and then he invented a board game, and that really.
Wait! What? He invented a board game?
Yeah.
What board game?
Do you know the game Things?
Things.
It's in a wooden box.
Okay, I probably have seen it at Snakes and Lattes or something.
Yeah, they have it at Snakes and Latte. They actually did a whole series with Snakes and Latte at one point. He actually the game was on like Ellen and stuff like 3 times. Like it was a very successful game. Yeah.
Holy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, and now he's making a new game. But also, my uncle is like, I don't know if you guys know who Evan Solomon is, but Solomon is.
Yes.
He's a
he was the editor of Shift, and he was on.
You're Evan Solomon's your uncle.
Yeah.
We want to get him on the program. I just like that.
I mean, listen. He's the nicest guy ever.
I would love to have Evan Solomon on the program. Oh my goodness, for sure.
Yeah,
anyway, sorry.
No, him and my aunt just moved to New York, and So, anyways, but yeah, my whole family, like that's my vibe. Like my dad's wife, Christine, my stepmom, she's a radio personality. So everyone's kind of already doing this kind of thing. So it's kind of interesting because it's like honestly, me doing music is like almost like the black sheep of the family because no one else is doing music. But it never felt weird to do like a creative sort of path for me. So anyways, all that to say that my mom enrolled me in a fine arts school pretty young. Like as of grade 3, I was attending a school called FACE in Montreal, which is stands for Fine Arts Core Education. So I had, choir classes, instrumental classes, drama and all that from a super young age. And was learning piano at home, taking guitar lessons, and that's kind of like, so super, super young, like grade 3, I had to learn how to play the classical flute for like 7 years.
May I just interject that I'm very much enjoying all the pantomime for all the musical instruments that you play? Piano, flute. You guys know I'm like, this is great.
My wife does exactly the same thing, right? She will say, I had a drink of coffee this morning, right? And she'll show you a mug.
I can't help it.
She's a hand talker as well, so it's all good. We love it.
I know you guys know what a piano is, but I know something about.
I know, but you went like this, it's like. Well, for the hearing impaired, for those people that they're
right,
maybe and they're she's talking about piano.
Can you play the triangle?
There you go.
I'm not very good at rhythm, but I could try.
So, Maya, let me ask you this: who were some of your earliest musical influences?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's so hard to say. I feel like I grew up in the era of kind of like like film soundtracks and stuff like that. So I feel like mixed CDs, burned CDs and stuff, but like. So many, like, I feel like, it's kind of like Tegan and Sarah the Con is kind of the album that I go back to a lot because it was the first, it's great.
Great record. Yeah.
It's one of the first albums that I was gifted that I like heard and I was like, oh, these people have kind of like voices like my voice. Like I'm not out here belting or anything, it's very like, the voices are very calm and soothing and they weren't doing anything super extravagant vocally, but they were super cool. And that kind of like made me realize, oh, I think like maybe I can sing then if they can sing, like this is cool music and I feel like I can make music like this. So I go back to that record, but like, there was like a lot of like MGMT and stuff when I was in high school, kind of the indie alt bands of that era. I mean, All American Rejects, I went to a few of their concerts and stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I grew up, having like all the classics, like the Britney Spears CDs. Avril Lavigne was one of my first concerts. I had listened to like Billy Talent and stuff. I don't know. I like a lot of Canadian artists,
Okay. So good for you. I was actually all of the bands that you're talking about. I worked at a radio station in Toronto called CFNY. And so I was there during that whole period with all of that great stuff, the Strokes and Franz Ferdinand and Billy Talent, Billy Talent, Ben Qualowitz that used to work at that radio station. He was working there when he was rehearsing with Billy Talent. So,
no way.
Yeah, cool. So really, really cool stuff. So yeah, you grew up in a great time with being influenced by some amazing stuff.
100%. Yeah. And then also like kind of like, the movies of the time, like I was super into like the 10 Things I Hate About You and stuff. I had all those CDs that had all those like mixed kind of like soundtracks and I was a classic teenage girl, so I also had my like Lizzie McGuire movie soundtrack being like, brilliant, these are great.
Lizzie McGuire movies are great.
Love it.
Listen,
love it.
Don't I know it?
Right? All of that stuff. Scott Pilgrim and all those. There was
Scott
so
Pilgrim
many
is one of my
movies.
favorite movies. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Speaking of metric.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So perfect. So if you are kind of like, what is that sound in the background? My 2 dogs are play fighting right now.
Nobody
Oh,
asked.
good.
Nobody cared.
Oh wow! No, it's okay. Derek and I have kind of been at each other's throats all day, so it's okay. So now you've made me lose my train of thought. Thanks, Derek.
You were Danny Elfman.
No, you weren't.
No. Okay.
Okay, inside jokes. Never mind.
Never mind. Don't mind us.
Do you have just as long of an acting background as your music background though?
Well, so I wanted to be an actor, yeah, when I first started, when I was a kid. I actually had like an agent and everything. I was part of the union and stuff from a very young age and going to auditions and stuff because I thought that was my path. But I kind of realized that acting, you can love acting as much as you want, but you still need like 85 people to agree that you are the person to get the job, you know? Right. Whereas when I started to do music and started to write my own songs, you know, I kind of started writing my own songs when I had like my first like breakup and was experiencing all these intense emotions. And I was like, where do I put them? And so I started to write music and I realized that I could just like put them on SoundCloud and share them with my whatever 100 friends on there. And it was already out and people could just say things. And then it was like I was experiencing this creative outlet that was like very different to acting, and also I was able to do it immediately and no one had to give me permission. So
sorry Dimitri, would you be able to hazard a guess as to what year it was you started putting things on SoundCloud? I
want to say as early as like I want to say as early as maybe 2010, because I was trying to learn, like, that's when I was like, I was not good then, but I was just doing whatever I could. And I was kind of like playing on GarageBand and like recording things like on my computer and stuff. Like it wasn't great, but I was trying. And it was definitely like the leeway, right? Like that's how I ended up meeting my bandmates and everything. Like, but yeah, I think with acting, I fell out of love with it when I realized how much work it was. And also I hated auditioning so much. It took up my whole day for like a one line across the city. And like at this point, I'm like in university and I'm like, I don't want to do it.
And it's stressful as hell.
It is.
It's often, am I right? Am I what they want? Am I going to say it the right way? Is it the correct monologue? Am I going to stumble over words? And sitting
in the room with like 7 people that like look the same as you as well.
That look like, exactly the same,
like,
right?
Stress me out. But honestly, I fell back in love with acting when I moved to Toronto. I got an agent here for voiceover work, which is what I use this for.
That's what we'll talk to you about shortly. Yeah.
But yeah, so I kind of transitioned away from on-camera stuff, although my agency is pushing me a little bit for some more on-camera commercial like stuff. But really, I'm mostly use my voice now for most of the things that I love.
I have a question.
You go. Yeah, go.
You had a first question. And Craig walked all over you. You go.
Okay.
Big guy.
So breakups are amazing for music. Historically. And so that and a lot of that was like, okay, that motivated you to SoundCloud, and also that was like your congratulations album was fueled by breakup.
Yeah,
so,
sorry, also not to deter, but I just saw you have a Second City shirt on. I did a 2-week program at Second City for improv once. Anyways, it was super, super fun. But yes,
it totally is. It totally is. But I don't know whether you want. All right, go ahead. But yes.
Sorry.
Dimitri will talk about Second City for an hour.
I know, and that's not what. That might not be what our audience is here for. But
it's Canadian. It's fine.
They got Mike Myers on the wall in there.
It started in Chicago, though, Derek. But yeah,
I'm sorry. Were you going to call me shirt cocking?
Shirt cocking. I was. Well, will you accept that as your name?
I will accept that as my name.
Revolution Radio and its affiliates do not support anything that comes out of Derek Shirt Cockin's mouth. Anyways,
is that your real last name, Shirt Cockin?
No.
You deserve that, Derek.
I don't take it badly. No, man. No, I make up stupid names. For
your real name? Derek Lewis is his name.
Derek Lewis is my real name. For the longest time, I had like Dirk Wonderstone,
Yeah.
And then I was Derek Alan Cross, but with a lot more expletives. Lewis. Yeah, I don't know. I have fun with my life, and what Derek Shirtcocking is just it's just funny.
If you say so, Derek. If you say so.
You thought of it. You said it. You did it, and then I ran with it.
So, Derek, you actually were going to have a question for Maya.
I also didn't. I don't feel like I answered to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but nobody cares.
Yeah. But why, Maya? Why do you think? Why do you think that the breakup fueled you creatively?
I mean, that album. So, like, that's my first solo album release, right? Which came out last year.
Was it an intense relationship?
Oh dear, yeah, it was. Yeah. It was a very intense relationship. It's one of those things where it's like, it started out great, but it ended up really toxic and really abusive, unfortunately. And I think it was like there were so many emotions that were being pent up in me that I felt like once I finally broke free, I was like, I got so much to say. This whole album is gonna be just the whole album. I kind of described it as like the beginning of the end, because the first song, which is Honey, it has a little bit of like something is not working here, even though it's kind of a bouncy, fun song. But then every song afterwards kind of just goes through like the end of the end. So the beginning of the end to the very end. And my first song that I released was Hostage from that album. And even in the title there, it's like the song is super bouncy and fun, but if you listen to the lyrics, it's not super jolly. So
right.
But,
and just to follow up before we go to Kurt Shirtcocking, do you think? So do you think that the process of making all that music forced you to grow in a certain way and learn something about yourself?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like music has always been a way for me to kind of express my emotions. Like when I was younger, I wasn't necessarily I don't want to say like a shy kid, but I feel like I was shy in some ways. Like I was super outgoing, but then there were somewhere where it was like I only was really expressing. Sometimes I didn't understand how I felt until I was like putting it into like musical format, and it's like that's when stuff starts coming up, and you're like, oh wait, this is how I'm feeling about this. Yeah. And I feel like there were so many little melodies swirling in my head at the end of that relationship. And when I finally left and started to when I wrote Hostage, I wasn't even fully gone from the relationship. I went to a SoCan writing workshop in Toronto, and I was living in Montreal at the time. And it was supposed to be 4 of us, and 2 of the people ended up being sick. So it was just like me and a producer in the room. So usually at a SoCan writing workshop, you're like, who's the song going to be for? We'll discuss after. But if it's just me and a producer, I was like, I guess it's for me. But at this point, I didn't even really have a solo project. So I was just I had my other band, and stuff. So it was like, I don't know, that song poured out of me. We had from like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. to write a song. And Hostage was like born. And it was kind of like, oh, I think I'm going to start a solo project. I think I'm going to break up with my boyfriend. So,
so do you think that idea of a solo project would have ever happened to you if more people had shown up?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I think yes. I think I was moving towards that already. It was already kind of bubbling here, but it definitely launched it. And like when I showed it to the SoCan office and stuff, they were so like, this is an awesome song. And then they made it like the SoCan song of the week and all these things. So kind of like started me like the beginning of me being like, oh, maybe this is something that is like exciting and that I could actually like do,
Well, I would just like to extend thanks to the people who didn't show up.
And a crummy ex-boyfriend.
Yes, thank you. The divine forces that were on my side that day.
Derek.
Yes, sir.
How about it?
It's my turn.
Talking.
Yeah. I just like saying it. It's good. I have a 2-part question. Well, I have 2 questions. It's not 2 parts. It's
going to take 15 minutes. Well.
If I had a mute button for you.
I'm the host. You can't. Sorry, go ahead.
My first question. What was the name of the young lady that walked into the bar you were working at with the ukulele that you ended up playing in a band with?
Her name is Emily Skane. Did you find that information on the internet?
I did find that information on the
internet. Yeah, her name is Emily Skane. And yeah, that is a very happenstancey, circumstantial thing that also kind of happened. That was like, if that hadn't happened, holy moly, like a good 10 years of my life would just be gone, which is so weird. But yeah, I was starting a job at a karaoke bar, and I got there and no one was there to train me. Like the manager had not showed up, and Emily had quit. So she had recently quit and she was coming into the bar to pick up her 4%. So this is truly the last time that this could have potentially happened. So I was just I had never worked at a bar before. I was like 18. I didn't know how anything worked. I was like trying to pour like a glass of beer, and it was pouring 4-liter pitchers. And so it was just like, I didn't know what I was doing. And anyways, she walked in, she put her like little ukulele on the bar, and she was like, "Do you need help?" And I was like, "Yes." Clearly I need a lot of help. Yeah. So she kind of trained me a little bit. She was teaching me how to use everything. And then during that I was like, "Oh, like you have a little ukulele here. Like, do you write music?" And she was like, "Yeah, actually we're like, me and my bandmate were looking for like a third girl for our like female led project." And I was like, "Oh, well, I kind of make music.
I'm a girl.
Like, I'm a girl. I got a SoundCloud that's kind of shitty, but like there's stuff on there." And so I gave her the link to my SoundCloud, and yeah, within like I think 3 or 4 days, I was in their living room and we were kind of just playing each other songs. And the band like technically already existed. They had another third member that left for BC. But I feel like I kind of just fit right in as like the missing puzzle piece. And I don't know, really, that Motel like really happened so randomly and then so quickly. Like we only had 10 songs, and it wasn't like we were like, these are the best songs we have. We were just like, these are the songs we do have, and we, and we will record them. And like we did like a fundraising, like a crowdfunding Indiegogo campaign thing to kind of get it going. And because one of the songs was in Searchlight at the time, it was the first time that Searchlight had ever happened, and we ended up getting first in Montreal and then 14th in all of Canada. That's how our managers found us. So before even our first album was out, but it was being recorded because we had crowdfunded it, we all of a sudden had managers who had just stopped managing Walk Off the Earth, and then all of a sudden Warner Canada also attached to this project. And it was like, and we're about to release our first album that we did with like a little shoestring. We're like, doesn't sound very good, but hopefully it's fine.
It was so far. Well, it was great for one.
Thank you.
And look at all like the extent of your career is all by happenstance.
I know.
Like you're just in the right position for this thing, and then you're in the right position for this thing, and then you're in the right position for that thing. I'm excited.
I'm a lucky girl.
I'm excited to see where else you go. Like this is you're literally a Dr. Seuss book. It's fascinating.
I think, you have to be in the right place at the right time, but you also have to have the right kind of like mindset and like be able to seize the opportunities as they come. Because I think, a lot of people I was super shy when I joined that band. And I think, the first few shows we played, it was like disastrous. I didn't know what I was doing. I was stopping and starting. I was like, I don't want to be looked at. But, I took the chance anyways, because I kind of had this like thing in my gut that I was like, you got to do this. So
it's great that you say that, Derek's second part is going to come up in 2 seconds. But when Dimitri and I interviewed the great Canadian legend Andy Kim, he said a lot of the same things along those lines of, if you're in the right place at the right time, you just kind of have to let things sort of happen. Like just put yourself in that, put yourself in that place and just kind of let it happen. And Andy Kim talked about that a lot, actually.
Cool. Yeah, because that's an improv lesson. Yes, and
yes, absolutely. And I did second improv, but I picked that up. But yeah, you really have to you do have to kind of let it happen. Like a lot of people don't realize that like so much of a successful career in anything is like all the times that you fell and you got back up, right? Like it's a bit cliche, but it's like, yeah, we like messed up a lot of times. We had so many bad shows. We didn't do everything perfectly, but like, still here doing it. So that's how you have a career eventually. Just a bunch of things that like some mistakes and then some things go right. And that's great.
Exactly.
That's the way to do it. My second question. Bubble tea in what flavor?
Oh my God, pearl milk tea.
Oh.
Do you guys, why do you ask that?
Oh, because it's
do you know that I like bubble tea?
Yeah, I do know that you like bubble tea.
How do you know that? Where did I say that?
He's being a little Nardwarish right now. It's great.
That's what I do. It's what I do. I find tidbits of information. I go, this will screw them up.
Just waiting for Derek to be like, and in 2011, you entered the kitchen at about 2:58.
No, it never gets creepy.
What's going on here?
No.
I'd be impressed.
Yeah, no, pearl milk tea is definitely the best for sure. That's my favorite.
Me too. I with the tapioca. I'm not. Really
you like tapioca? Okay.
I do like the tapioca, the bubbles. Yes, but I get it half sweet. I don't like it too sweet, and I really don't like the fruit ones. It's not for me.
Nope. I do regular sugar 50%. 50% sugar, regular ice.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
There we go. Nice.
Hell yeah.
I can't do it.
You don't like bubble tea?
I haven't. I tried it, and I've tried it 2 or 3 times now, and I'm just like, I can't do it.
Have you tried our one though? The pearl milk tea, 50% sugar, regular ice.
I have not.
So we're going to have to go for bubble tea, and then we'll see what you think after that.
Done.
Done and done.
I'm in.
I'm not like a big, I don't drink pearl milk tea or bubble tea every day, but when I do go, that's my guy.
Yeah.
Nice.
So this Thursday is Halloween.
Is it?
True.
And it's also the release of It's a Me Thing.
Yes. Very true.
Yeah. Why... is that rigged? Did you rig an album release on Halloween?
I rigged Halloween. It's all.
It's all. This is all because of you. Amazing.
No. So essentially, I'm kind of just like, it is my album release on Thursday. Yes, and don't want to take away from it, but at the same time, there's only one new song that's coming out on Thursday. Like I got funding from the Toronto Arts Council and the Ontario Arts Council maybe 2 years ago to make this record, and I learned from my first album release that I wanted to release a lot of the songs as singles in order to have them each kind of have a moment, because I found when I released Congratulations, the songs that I released as singles did really well, and then the ones that I didn't kind of fell off, and it was hard to get people to pay attention to 4 songs at a time sort of thing, so I decided that I was going to roll out the album. I essentially set myself up for a nightmare year this year, which was a song release every 5 weeks and trying to get people to pre-save and have enough content and all this stuff to push every song. But it did actually work in my favor in the sense that all of the songs have gotten a lot more love that way. So the final song that's coming out on Thursday, which brings all the songs I've been releasing all year long into this pretty bow, where I can tell the Ontario Arts and Toronto Arts that I did in fact release an album, is called Welcome to My Funeral. So when I was looking at the calendar and I knew it was going to be in October anyways, I thought, well, it's a funeral theme song and it'll probably be some sort of funeral theme visuals attached. Why not release it on Halloween?
Good job.
Oh, so it...
Look at you, smart marketing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think you should actually make a video for it. Make sure that you're dressed in lots of black with black nail polish, right? White, face paint, lots of gothic imagery. I think you should do a video for this song. I was
thinking about that too. I thought it would be a really fun video of almost like a zombie couple, because the song is about trying to rebirth yourself, and everyone's invited to my funeral, but it's not really my funeral. It's actually my coming into myself party, and the song is kind of shaped as a love song in the sense that there's a lot of I buried my heart 6 feet underground, no one's gonna find it, just leave me alone, and sort of thing. So I thought it might be funny to have kind of a zombie that had kind of eaten my brains, being I'm so sorry that I hurt your feelings. I'm no, you can't come to my funeral,
That's awesome. We should get Derek to film it for you.
So sure,
that could be a thing.
Could be a thing.
I actually have this whole thing in my head where instead of being dead, you kind of regenerate through the end, and by the end of the song, you're back to you.
Yeah, or I'm a vampire. I never die after that.
That's also good.
But It's a Me Thing is also different from Congratulations in that Congratulations is fueled by a breakup, and the making of It's a Me thing, you're not in emotional upheaval. And like, what was writing in that state like for you?
It was super interesting. Like, this whole solo project has been interesting for me, right? Because I come from a band background where I'm used to having like literally instruments and people in a room where we're like building the songs that way, kind of the more old fashioned way. But then also, you know, when you're in a band, and especially one that's led by multiple people, there's, you know, we always had to, there's like, of course there's some compromising and stuff. Sometimes compromise can be awesome. And sometimes it can feel like, oh, I wish it kind of could have done it my way. So, you know, it's like, this solo project was kind of my venture into what does it look like when everything is done just by like my way sort of thing, and what does that sound like. And so for Congratulations, I was super hands-on, and I was like, no one is writing with me, I'm the only writer on this, like everybody else can just frig right off. But for the second
you're allowed to swear on this show, by the way.
Good to know. Yeah. Yeah, so I really just wanted it to be kind of just my point of view, my lens and stuff. And I had, like I said, a lot to say. But then when I came to the second album, you know, like I said, I had gotten the Toronto and the Arts Council grants quite a bit in advance for the second album. And so my deadlines were starting to come up. And I was like, oh, I have to write a whole other album. And my heart's not hurting right now. I'm totally fine. Like, what am I going to say? And that's when I started to be like, okay, you know what, maybe I can loosen the knot on this, like it has to be only me and only me at all times, and I can like start inviting in some of my like super awesome artist friends whose music I love, you know. So a lot of my friends are in these writing rooms with me, so I invited, you know, a few people into different sessions, and I was kind of just thinking like, okay, well, what do I want to write about? And I was like, well, the whole album, my first album, and so the only music that I have out as a solo artist right now is all about this one thing, and it's all a relationship. I kind of want to write, like steer away from relationships and talk about other things. And then I was like, well, who am I? Who am I? You know, who am I? And so I started to kind of like look at myself and what makes up me. And I was, you know, there's a song on there about my hypochondria. The It's a Me thing song is about being super indecisive and just kind of like looking at these things that I know to be true about myself and writing about that instead. So yeah.
Nice. And so like, and now what have you learned about yourself again, like this time around?
That's a really good question. What have I learned about myself? I learned that I am like regaining trust in myself, in the sense that, like, you know, when you're in like an abusive relationship or something toxic, there's a lot of like, oh God, am I making the right decisions for things? And when I wrote the first album, like I said, it was very just me and the producer, and you know, that ended up being awesome and working out. And then for this album, when I invited people in, even though I was a bit nervous to do that, it also was awesome and it ended up working out. And it's like, I've kind of like just realized that like when you trust yourself and you just kind of like go for it, and you also involve people that you trust and let people, like good people, into your life, that they can't really, like, there's not that much that can go wrong unless there's like a tragedy, you know? So it's like, I'm very much a believer of now, like the song writes itself. So no matter who's in the room, it's probably going to write itself, as long as like, well, obviously we're not just going to sit there and do nothing. We have to do something. But like, if there are some words that don't fit perfectly at the time, I'm always going to be able to pinpoint it later and either fix it in the session or afterwards. And yeah, I think I've learned that like, I'm a complicated person like anyone else. And, I think, you know, I with the title track, the hook is like, they say when you know, then you know, guess I don't know yet. And I kind of just have like learned to like embrace the fact that it's okay to not know, and to
absolutely, yeah,
just to like allow yourself that like grace to like, I don't know, do whatever you want, and like the right thing will come. And even if you don't know, you will know eventually. Or it's also maybe you don't know anything, like maybe you don't ever really fully know, and maybe you just have to just go for that, you know. Go for what feels right.
Do you do a lot of writing primarily by yourself first, or do you do a lot of writing sessions more so?
I mean, now that I'm like, so this is part of why I wanted to move to Toronto as well, is that in Montreal, it's not really, well, at least the scene that I was in, was very band scene, right? Like there's not really like writing rooms, and a lot of the bands there don't really want you in the writing room if they're not in their band. They're like, why are you here? So I feel like in Toronto, it's very much more so kind of like a songwriter city. So it's definitely like, at first I would have said, you know, I used to be way more like, I would like, for the band, sometimes I would like write a song by myself at home and then bring it to the project, and then sometimes you would like have an idea in the room and create a song like that. But it was very much, that was my band and these are the people that I write with. And then when I left the project, I haven't left the project, but when I like started this project instead, it was like, okay, I was doing a lot of voice noting, like recording like lines into my phone, which was not something I had ever really done before for songwriting. Like usually I would sit at my guitar and that's how the ideas would come. But for this first album that I did, it was very much like, okay, this sounds catchy to me. Let me just do this. And then bring that to a producer. And then, yeah, for this second album, some of it was like, oh, I have an idea. But a lot of it was going into the room with nothing, but being like, I think I like these songs right now. These are my references for like songs that I'm listening to. Maybe I want a song like this. I know that maybe like, what am I feeling right now? Because I was also inviting like pretty much my best friends into the songwriting rooms with me, right? So it was like, we do that classic thing where it's like a bit of a therapy session where it's like, even one of the songs on my album called Neutral, I was like, I don't feel like I can write a song today because I don't feel like I have any feelings. And I was like, well, I guess that could be a song. And so then, you know, the song Neutral was born, where it's
brilliant. Yeah,
there you go.
Neutral. Perfect. That's great.
Amazing.
What a great idea.
So there's just like, yeah, so it's interesting because also, you know, I wrote some other songs during that time, but the ones that really ended up being part of this collection of songs are all kind of in a similar topic or in a similar kind of universe in my head, where it's like, I did end up writing a few other songs that were like kind of like, some are like love songs or whatever, or like heartbreak songs. I was like, doesn't work on this album. That'll be after, you know, that'll be for EP for next year or something.
Nice.
So you're already ahead of the game.
Listen,
right?
You gotta be, apparently, in the freaking streaming world.
So as far as the voiceover stuff goes, I've been dying to ask you about this now for the last like 40 minutes we've been talking. So as far as all the voiceover stuff, is there anything that's out right now that we would kind of go, oh, there's Maya? Like, is there anything?
Well, yes, actually. Funny that you asked. I do like I've done some work for Pure Leaf and like iced tea, and apparently it's all over Netflix is what I'm hearing. If you don't have the Netflix that doesn't have ads, you're apparently being bombarded with my voice 24/7. So
nice. There you go.
That's great.
But yeah, I've done a lot of voice, like in the last, well, I say a lot. It's still like really like, it's hard to like book them. There's a lot of auditioning, but But
I've done a few voice things too. It is hard. It's really, really hard. Yeah.
It is hard, but it is nice when I feel like, you know what, it took me 8 months of auditioning to like book my first ever thing. And then after that, it kind of felt like it started to roll. So now I've done like I've been the voice of Google. I did McDonald's. I did actually an ASMR spot for McDonald's. That was like, I had to like be like, whipped cream frosting, whatever. And it was like a Spotify ad. And so there's actually like Reddit threads dedicated to how much they hate my McDonald's ad, which I thought was very funny because
that's fantastic.
Like,
it is very
everyone's
funny.
like, I just want to rip my ears out.
If they're talking about you, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, so listen, no one's gonna know that it's me, so I don't. Well, they will now, but you know, whatever.
And I was
going to say a little late for that one.
And that purple and pink ball is what you use for your voiceover.
Yeah, okay,
just for my auditions, but I'll go into like a studio like Grayson or something to do like the final product. Yeah.
The chaos balls are great, aren't they?
They're fantastic.
Yeah, it's a little handy tool because I don't really have a soundproofed room.
Yeah,
so.
Booth. Yeah, the sound booth. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's awesome. So listen, we do need to talk about kind of next steps, I think, for you as far as it goes. So album comes out Thursday, which is fantastic. When are you doing shows?
I have an answer to this question.
I'm doing
a show. So the album release party is on November 23rd in Toronto at Division 88. And it's like that's like a less traditional space. So it's cool because I get to invite some of my friends in who aren't only like musicians to kind of do some stuff. So we're going to have like some like food and stuff. It hasn't really been announced, but essentially one of my friends who's a chef, he's like an influencer chef, and he's like going to be there making some food for us. I have a lot of friends opening and stuff. The openers have not really been announced, but they are on the Eventbrite page, so if people want to go look, they can. I just haven't posted on Instagram. And then in Montreal, I'm also doing an album release show on the 29th at Le Ministère, which is like this really cool venue. It's like an old bank. And I'll have some openers there as well. So those are my 2 shows right now, and I'm currently making CDs and some new shirts and stuff of the first and the second album for the CDs. So
I love it.
Yeah.
I love the era that you grew up in. Right now, there's a bunch of people listening going, "What's a CD?"
Yeah. It's so hard to know, like, if I should be making tapes or vinyls or CDs. I'm like, because people do buy, like, I found with Motel, it's like people love to walk away with like a physical item, like a vinyl or something.
I do.
I do as well.
I just
and
find that
and everything. Yeah.
I just find that well, speaking of another Montreal artist, No Bro, okay, that all-female punk band, I went to their show in January. They only had a vinyl copy of their current album. And I so wanted a CD because I have a CD player in my car still. And I like, so
that's good because I almost did vinyls instead, but they're just so much more expensive, and I just wasn't sure if like people would actually buy them. So I said I'm going to start with CDs and then see if that does well, and then if people like those, then maybe I'll do a run of vinyls. But yeah, it's good to know that people still have CDs. It's true, people have CD players. And stuff,
absolutely, yeah. Lots of cars still do them. So yeah,
I mean, up until 2020, I had a van that had a tape player in it. So I used to have like Alanis Morissette and stuff. You know, like I don't know. I think that's fun too.
A little bit of pop trivia for you. As of 2025, Ford F-150s no longer come with an AM radio.
What?
Oh yeah,
no longer come with the Ford F-150s do not come with AM radios anymore.
Alan Cross is doing a whole thing on the death of AM radio.
Oh, cool.
Okay, well that's weird. That seems wrong. I don't know.
Just so you know, 2025 Subarus still come with a CD player.
Oh, there you go. Nice. Do you have?
I don't remember if my Jeep has a.
I don't have a 2025 Subaru.
Oh, okay. All right. Did you just look it up just now? That's actually quite impressive. That's some impressive Google Foo skills. That was.
Yeah, I didn't even touch my phone.
Wow, that's amazing. That's what we call Google Foo. Nice.
Dimitri died. There you go.
Dimitri passed out. Oh.
He passed. There, he's back.
All right.
See, there's your music video right there. Dimitri died, came back. He's Jesus.
The rebirth of Dimitri.
That's it. Well, listen, we really want to keep in touch with you because I really would love to see you play live. I really would. I bet you'd just put on a killer show. So congratulations on the new record this coming Thursday. All right, so make sure that you freaking get it. If you don't get it, what's wrong with you?
Dimitri will haunt you if you don't get it.
That's right. If you don't get it,
I don't haunt people.
Yeah.
You're dead, remember?
You're going to start.
It's a Me Thing comes out Thursday. Everywhere you get your fine albums on streaming services as well as CDs. You see what I'm doing? I'm doing a back sell. Trying to do a back sell here for you.
It seems like a front sell.
It seems like a front sell.
The CDs won't be available till November 23rd, just so you know, at my show. Okay. But the after that they'll be online. But I want people to come to the show.
Are there going to be tickets available for the show?
Yeah, the tickets are already up.
Oh, are they? Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
Toronto and Montreal.
I'll look for the Eventbrite link and put it in the chat.
Please do.
Yeah, put it up there. We'll just wait while you do it. We're not going to wait while you do it. Sit here, wait for you. No music, no background music.
We're not playing the Jeopardy theme. So listen, we're going to play Welcome to My Funeral. Maya, is there anything that you would like to say about this tune before we spin it? And
other than what you already have?
I mean, it's just kind of like a silly tongue-in-cheek song. Like even the lyrics in there, we go like, "Oh, silly me, wear my heart on my sleeve again, and now I'm dead. Good thing I dated you." So it's kind of just like a silly, yeah, I don't know. I love the song. Also, it was I wrote it with my friend Layla and this producer Dex, who he did that song "Stunning." Do you guys know that song? Ice on my neck, I'm a pretty boy, I'm stunning. It was really big on TikTok.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so he was he like reached out to me for it, so he's part of the team for that one as well.
Dude, you're on my earphones, fuckhead.
Is that your cat?
That's my cat.
No, I have cats too.
He's adorable. His name is Chuck Finley.
Oh, actually, I have a
and
cat.
His butt smells.
Who is named after Pearl Milk Tea.
Do you?
Pearl. I do.
Oh, I have Chuck Finley and I have Yzma. I don't know where Yzma is.
Oh, Yzma.
But being the age that you are, that I don't actually know the age you are, but considering you were talking about what you were talking about musically, you know who Yzma is.
I actually have no idea who Yzma is.
You do. Sorry. Because you don't remember watching Emperor's New Groove?
Oh my god, I loved
Played
that
by Eartha Kitt?
I did love that
Played by Eartha Kitt? Yes.
Wait, I actually loved that movie, but
Scary Beyond All Reason?
So long.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna Google the character because.
Do it. Scary Beyond All Reason. No, we'll wait. We'll wait for you to do it.
But I do remember her. I do remember
that's
her.
my cat. She is exactly that character. 100%. She is that character.
Is she really skinny?
She's actually quite fat. Because apparently she gets 3 dinners because I wasn't informed that my wife had fed them before she left. And so I came home and then she was just yelling at me all night when I got home. And I was like, fine, I'll feed you here. Sorry. Geez, I'd forgotten. And then she got food and now she's left me alone.
Nice.
So she's quite fat, but she looks like Eartha Kitt. So
that's hilarious. That's a deep cut. I'm going to try to watch that.
You have to. It's so good.
Rewatch.
Samutong says thanks.
Because
I helped out Samutong
because Dimitri put the link up in the thingy.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Is there another Eventbrite link for the Montreal album release?
There is one for the Montreal, but it's not an Eventbrite. It's also in my it's on the Ministère website. It's in my bio on Instagram, but I can also send it to you guys. I guess I can find it.
Yeah, if you go down, there's a little chat down here. And you can send
it's just that I'm on my iPad, so to be able to copy it there, I don't know. I think I would be leaving.
Send us an email and we'll put it up.
Or make
I can get Beth to send it to you too.
Yeah,
or send you. I can do it too. I can do it.
But anyway, yeah. So there's an album release in Toronto, and the link is in the chat, and then there's another album release in Montreal. And you got to do a little legwork to get that one. So
it's on Maya's Instagram link.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, on my bio, there's a little
link in bio.
Link in bio.
Yeah.
It's
awesome.
one of the first 2. So
that's what the kids say. Link in bio. Dimitri.
Link in bio. The longest introduction for Welcome to My Funeral ever. But
right? Wow.
Right? Literally the longest and probably the most painful one you
Let's talk more about cats.
Yeah, no, let's spin a wicked tune here called Welcome to My Funeral. It's a Me Thing is the name of the record. Our new bestie right here on Revolution Radio Canada.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out.
Maya, you've been a delight.
Yeah, you are awesome. Yeah, you really are awesome. So thank you so much for being here. And honestly, we'd love to have you back, okay? So
of course. And we're going to go for promo tea. So
yes,
done and done. Absolutely. Canadian as Heck, episode 104 with Maya Malkin right here on Revolution Radio Canada.
Bury my heart in a graveyard. Don't bother looking because you'll never find it. Locked it up in a box, shipped it offshore. Yeah, you know it's flying private. You don't get the best of me, not affecting me no more. My heart might be 6 feet deep, but it's better than being yours. Welcome, yeah, welcome to my funeral. Please take a seat and enjoy the show. I'm looking so good and head to toe black. I'm rolling in my grave, now you want me back. Oh, silly me, with my heart on my sleeve, and the eulogy reads me the death of me. Dry your crocodile tears years, yeah, your career and dramatic monologue is fooling no one. And my famous last words were, this ain't gonna work. Now you're sending flowers and condolence. No, you don't get the best of me, not affecting me no more. And my heart might be 6 feet deep, but it's better than being yours. Welcome, yeah, welcome to my funeral. Please take a seat and enjoy the show. I'm looking so good and head to toe back. I'm rolling in my grave, now you want me back. Oh, silly me, with my heart on my sleeve and the eulogy reads you. I was dying to keep it together. Now I'm dying 'cause I'm not better. I was dying to keep it together. Now I'm dying 'cause I'm not better. Oh, silly me, with my heart on my sleeve and the eulogy reads you, the death of me. Yeah, you, the death of me. Oh, silly me, wear my heart on my sleeve, and I always knew that you'd be the death of me.
A sweet, sweet, sweet indie pop song by our new bestie, Maya Malkin. I love it. 2
So
minutes
good.
and done.
Done.
So sweet. Good
Out
for
the
you.
door.
That's right. Sweet,
Yeah, that's what I've been
awesome, to the point. Good for you. That's awesome. Again, thank you so much for your time tonight, my friend. We really appreciate you.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Okay,
It was so
you best.
fun.
All the best. Okay, we'll talk to you again.
Okay, bye guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye, Maya.